Hi, it's Dina Davis here, and this is my course reflection on the Sports Mind Institute's belief as your fuel. So what this course is really all about is about living up to your full potential. So I think there's a major question we have to ask ourselves, and I ask myself, am I living up to my full potential? Have I gone through the steps to achieve what it is I set out to achieve, or have I given up? There's a big difference between belief and desire. You can desire something. You can want something so bad you can taste it. And I know I've been there lots of times. But unless you're going to get out of the tent, the way Eric says, and start climbing the mountain, you're really not going anywhere. So what is the point of all this? It's about reclaiming that power that we had when we were kids, when we believed that we could do anything. Because up until about the age of 5, we really did believe we could do anything. For goodness sake, we thought we could fly, right? I know I did. But somewhere down the line, we start listening to those messages that say, be careful, you're going to hurt yourself. Don't be so silly. Be practical. And unfortunately, what happens when we start to listen to that is we give up. So what this course is really all about is about refining that belief in ourselves that we can achieve anything, but it involves work and it does involve struggle, but it's understanding that part of that struggle is what's going to make us grow and is going to make us stronger. So my intention is to talk about a few of the sections in this unit that were particularly powerful and useful to me, and I would like to connect them to my experiences in the past, how I can utilize some of the materials now in the present, and looking into envisioning a little bit about how to be creative with this material and take it into the future to improve my life and the life of others. Because let's face it, the whole point of this is to live bigger, better, fuller, more meaningful lives. So the first section, which was very interesting for me and very applicable, was ego as your fuel. Now, I'm one of those people that was brought up to believe that ego is not a good thing. If you operate from your ego, then you are arrogant and you are conceited, and it's not good to be like that. People will not like you if you are arrogant. And I've realized through this course that my ego is actually what gave me the strength and the courage to make choices when people were saying to me, you can't do that. You'll never be able to do that. And it was that little voice inside of me from my ego saying, yes, I can. You watch me. And thank God for that, because we all have it. Some of us choose to listen to it, and some of us don't. And if we don't listen to that voice, it's usually because we have a fear of failing. And that's part of the mindset change that we're working on in this course, to get over those fears and do it anyway. So there's the quote from Henry Ford that I love, which is, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. And that belief that we can is really what's going to motivate us to move forward and achieve whatever we want. So connecting to the past, I chose an alternative career path. I chose to go into the arts and to study theater. That's all I wanted to do, was to be on the stage. It caused huge battles in my family. I had to have a number of fights with my father, who really wanted the best for me, and I understand that now because I'm a parent. He wanted to make sure that I was going to be financially secure. But I did listen to my ego, and I followed my path, and I really have no regrets for it. I work with children on a regular basis, and I've worked with actors for 25 years. And one of the main things, the job of an actor is to believe that they can play a part. And through that belief, they become the part. And it's not until they become the part that an audience connects with them and is drawn into the play. So what if we took that same model into our lives or into our professional lives? I mean, take a team within an office where maybe somebody dreams of moving up the ladder or becoming the CEO or whatever. Well, what if you believe and become and let yourself become that part now and start living your life, dressing the part? What are the actions that that person would go about? How would they speak? How would they interact with others if they were the CEO? And perhaps if you start living the life, what you believe, you might actually manifest that life. I think it's an interesting idea to explore. Now, I think that there's a certain amount of refueling of our egos that's needed, because life beats us down, And I think there comes a time in your life where you start giving up on a regular basis because of those messages. So I think it's very important to feed your own mind with positive messages and refueling that belief on a regular basis. So, and part of that's done through reframing, which leads me into the next section, which I think is so incredibly powerful and is perhaps the key to a happy life. The ability to reframe a situation. You can take any situation, no matter how negative, and if you're conscious and you're creative, you can flip that situation into something positive. And it's not always easy, because what happens is we get caught in the whirlwind of a situation and we become reactive, we become passengers. But through a certain amount of mindfulness and detachment from the situation, if you're able to look at it and say, okay, right now this stinks. However, what can I do with this? Then you're into a whole different realm of creativity. My mother passed away when I was 10 years old. It was extremely traumatic for the family, but there came a point when I was a teenager where I thought, I can be a victim to this, and I can feel abandoned, and I can feel lost forever. Or I can take this situation of like, what would my mother want me to become out of this? Well, she would want me to take this as a lesson of live your life to the fullest, because you never know when your time's going to be up. And I think it was that realization that gave me the strength and fed my ego to make the choices and create the life that I wanted to create. And I can truly say that I have lived the life that I wanted to create. Another thing I think looking professionally is about, in reframing, taking responsibility, being willing to take 100% responsibility for successes and for failures. As a leader, it's for yourself and for your team. Because as soon as you start blaming or trying to cover up out of fear because you don't want to fail, you're really giving up that power. Excuses are a releasing of power, and turning excuses into action and reframing any situation can only really be positive. There's a formula that I like to follow, or that I try to live by, which is that we can sit around and wait. We can wait till we're ready, wait for approval, wait till we feel confident enough, and never get anywhere. But if we really want to achieve something, you really have to start with commitment. You have to commit to something first. Then comes the courage, then comes the confidence. So whether it's climbing a mountain, whether it's going for a job, whether it's training for a sport, you make the commitment first. And I mean commit. You gain courage after that, and from that you have confidence, because then you have the experience. And it's really just a cycle of recreating those types of situations throughout your life. So the last section I wanted to talk about was on failure as your fuel. It's incredibly powerful, and it's interesting because it's something that I apply to my work now. It's really only through failure that we learn lessons, and that we get better, and we gain skills, and we're able to look back and go, oh, that makes sense now. If we could learn to celebrate failures, and I like how it says in the course about anticipating failures, anticipating roadblocks, because yes, they're going to be there. But if we begin to say, yes, epic failure, what have I learned from that? Again, we're reframing our lives. I have, I direct plays regularly, and in the rehearsal room, the first rehearsal, I always say, this is our safety net. The rehearsal room is our safety net. And when you come in here, you are encouraged to fail. Because if we don't encourage that, if we don't take risks, we're going to have a blah, meaningless performance. We want to try things, take risks, and fail, because we don't want to fail on stage in front of an audience. Well, what if we took that same formula into any professional team? What if a team was encouraged to take risks and to fail? Who knows what they could achieve as a team, because through that you gain trust, you gain greater camaraderie, higher motivation, and much more creativity. And let's face it, our lives are all about being creative. So as far as taking belief as your fuel and my vision for it in the future, I see just that. I believe that these materials can be used in a creative way. I believe in taking a lot of what we as performers use to dig deep within ourselves and connect with other human beings. I believe it's powerful, and I believe there's much we can do together, bridging the arts with the professional world, and that is certainly where I intend to take it. So Thank you very much for listening to this, my reflection, and I look forward to sharing the next unit with you. Signing off.